Welcome back to the bench and the bleachers. As always, I'm your host, Keenan Dragaskis, joined by my co-host, Alex Tanaka. It was a fun week of baseball. Got a big milestone from a player, some big divisional changes, and, well, it's the MLB, so another betting controversy. But first of all, biggest news of the week, Clayton Kershaw, 3,000th strikeout, happened on his last pitch of the night at home in Dodger Stadium. That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge for Kershaw, huge for Major League Baseball. Damn shame what they're doing, shoehorning him into this All Star game as a Legends pick. To me, that just I
They've
don't
done it
like that.
before.
Doesn't mean they should keep doing it. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb, but that should not overshadow Clayton Kershaw's accomplishment of getting 3,000 strikeouts. That's pretty much the only reason he's still pitching is for personal achievement, by the way. But good for
Yeah.
him. I mean, he is probably the best pitcher of the last 25 years. Maybe Pedro and Randy, but if you look at body of work just in this century alone, not really another argument for anybody else. So good
No.
for Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, it's a really good moment. We're not going to see these. If we see someone hit 3,000 strikeouts, it's not going to be for a while.
It'll be a
Like,
hitter.
yeah, like pitchers get injured so often. You almost all of them lost a year because of the COVID season, so you got to take that into consideration. Like it's so difficult. Hitters someone's hitting 3,000 hits before someone gets 3,000 strikeouts.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
and
And
that's
that's
still
even
not
with
for a while.
the emphasis on walks now too, right? And the
Yeah.
more push towards three true outcomes. So yeah, I just 3,000 strikeouts. I think that this may be the last time we ever see it. So
Yeah, if
unless
Paulskin
someone's
stays
close,
healthy,
unless
that's
someone who
Paulskin
Cole.
stays healthy, then he
Oh
does it.
yeah, yeah. Skeens can if he stays healthy, he strikes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's the huge thing with pitchers is just it's a
if he
huge
stays
if.
healthy. Oh, we'll
It's a
see.
huge if, like just the way
I doubt
our
it.
pitching is.
I
I'd love to
really
see it,
doubt
but
it.
it's
We'll see.
so difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, over in the AL East though, Michael Kay, Blue Jays, no, Yankees radio announcer said the Jays are not a first place team. The Jays haven't lost since he said this, and have 3 games on the Yankees.
Yeah, and Jamie Campbell, the Blue Jays got long time Blue Jays host, like threw a broom at the thing and said like, yeah, well they're in first place, Michael, but that and then they had a little bit of a hey, like still really like you, you're a great guy on
Yeah.
Twitter and all that. So, I was like, that's cool. I actually, my weird thing, I'm a Blue Jay fan, but Michael K's not wrong. They're not really a first place team.
No, they're
Like
just
if you,
riding a very hot
they're
streak.
just on like a 9 game heater,
Yeah.
but they are a playoff team.
It also
They're
it, it
not a
also looks
first.
really bad when you say that right after you get swept in Toronto, though.
It
Like,
does. That does sound bad, but I understand what he's saying when he says that because this team is not the traditional American League East first place team.
yeah,
Because traditionally in the American League East, you have probably two or three marquee all star level hitters who are hitting 30 homers a year, 120 RBIs, and you have two or three ace pitchers with a dominant bullpen. This Blue Jays team is much more focused on defense, creating runs any way that they can with good bat
situational hitting.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah, situational hitting, moving runners up, contributions from 13 guys in the lineup. The starting rotation's been a bit up and down. The bullpen has been overworked in high leverage situations. So I understand why he's saying that, but the Jays are also finding a way to win. They feel like more of like an NL Central first place team than an American League East first place team.
yeah, a
If
little
that makes
Brewers
sense,
esque,
huh?
a little Brewers esque with
A
how
little
they win the
Brewers, but a
division.
little bit more kind of Cardinals esque,
Yeah, that's true.
right? With like the first baseman,
Like
a
the
couple other.
new era Cardinals,
Yeah, the
where
new
they don't
Eric.
have
Yeah,
it.
that you know what I mean. Where like they're just kind of finding a way to win, but they
Yeah,
still have good players, and the roster's built. Like I will say this: the Blue Jays roster is built to win this way. This is the
yes,
exact way that the Jays were built to win, which is stopping runs, trying to score any way you can, while you still have your Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and boy is George Springer bounced back. Addison Barger's coming to nowhere. Uh, if Anthony Santander gets healthy and figures his shit out, holy fuck, this team's good. Like then they'll look legitimate. Then you add a batter, you add a bat on top of that, and like a Merrill Kelly,
and
this team
Varsho
does look like a
comes
first
back.
place team. Hey,
Yeah, Varsho comes
Yeah,
back too.
yeah. You get Varsho back, Santander comes back, a healthy-ish Scherzer, the reemergence of Manoa, who's waiting. Then you add in a couple extra outsiders coming in. Maybe
Hmm.
you move on from Tiedemann. There's a lot of exciting stuff that could happen.
Yeah, you just need if they want to compete in the playoffs, they're gonna need a starter, so or someone who can take bulk innings, right? Because that's kind of been the Blue Jays' weak spot, a thin rotation. Gossman's only going five recently. Like
Here's my
you
thing though.
need.
I actually I might disagree with you here because the team who won the World Series last year didn't have a rotation in the playoffs. They just kind of
But they
figured it
had.
out.
We will say that I will say this: they had a much better bullpen.
They had a much better bullpen. But look at the Tigers last year. The best team in the league last year didn't have a rotation. AJ Hinch said it himself. We were just figuring out as we go. I
Yeah.
think you need a rotation to get to the playoffs, but to win in the playoffs, you need three guys.
Hmm.
And the Jays have their three guys. Now, whether or not they stay healthy, I think they would much rather have four or five guys. And Eric Lauer is definitely the fourth with how well he's pitched this year. But I would say if I'm going shopping and I'm the Blue Jays, you want probably one starter, one or two more bullpen arms, and a power bat.
Yeah.
You're not going to get all that. You're not going to get all that, so you need to prioritize. But if you can get two more good arms and an impact hitter, you can really start to fly.
Hmm. Well, it's not only them who's red hot in the AL, in the American League too.
Definitely not.
Seattle, they are 4-2 this month. They've won 8 of their last 10. Or sorry, 6 of their last 8. I don't know where that came from, but this is a team. They're just figuring out how to win again. Pitching's starting to lock down and be consistent. Swept the Pittsburgh Pirates without them scoring a single run.
That doesn't
Right
count.
after
It's the
Pittsburgh,
Pirates.
right after
Doesn't
Pittsburgh
count.
swept
It was
St.
against
Louis
Pittsburgh.
and not allowing
They're
them to
good.
score a run. But Seattle, if Julio's bat wakes up and is the All Star he's supposed to be,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we may need to realize Julio Rodriguez is just Michael Harris with better marketing. Like that might just be like this might be who Julio Rodriguez is as a player. Like he
yeah,
might just be a pretty good defender and an okay hitter.
yeah, it's just it's you
This
know he
just
can do
might be
better
who he
than
is.
that. It's one of those
At,
things.
at a certain point though, when do we just say, yeah, this is just who Julio Rodriguez is?
It's getting close.
like I want to know what the line is for people because for me if he ends if we get to this point next season and he's still at this level, this is who he is, unless he makes some drastic changes.
Yeah,
This is kind of the ceiling for him, but despite this they're still on a great run. I mean, really things have changed since they brought in Dan Wilson last year. That's when this flip has been switched for them offensively. Cal Raleigh is just like an
he's on another
MVP.
level.
He is on another level. He belongs in a higher league. He's crushing the ball, and they've surged back into the wild card. We kind of thought they were done a little bit a couple weeks ago. I was thinking they were just hanging on and they were going to inevitably fall off, but they've fought right back in, and now they're right there in the American League wild card race, which is wide open this year. I think it's
Yeah,
maybe the most exciting wild card I can remember. This is phenomenal.
yeah, it's wide open, and they're another team that is one hitter away from just probably staying consistent, right?
That's yes, staying consistent I think is the key for them because they have had some sustained negative stretches would be the way that I would say it offensively.
Yeah.
So, but
Uh, Dodgers announcer Oral Hershiser decided to bring up an old wound for
oh,
everyone in the MLB,
great.
especially Astros fans, hinting at them cheating again, saying it's almost as if they know what's coming. Well, they were pummeling the Dodgers 18-1. The only thing is, this was in LA, and they swept them in that
Yeah, I
series.
think he's just being a sour, bitter old man. I don't know
He
about
was
you though.
being very sour. They got outscored 29-6 in that series.
Yes, like
Like,
sometimes really good teams hit really well. I think
don't
that's
add
just
fuel to the fire.
yeah. I
You're the
just
announcer. Announce the game.
yeah, like I don't care what Oral Hershiser thinks about this cheating scandal. I think it's just sour grapes is what it is. Sad that he kind of just made it about himself. He made himself the headline and not the game, which may have been a decision because the Dodgers got swept by the Astros. So I
Yeah.
think it's just not very professional to say that.
Speaking of hot teams, we should have brought this up then. Houston's a top five team in the MLB again, by record.
They're figuring it out. They've actually no, sorry, they have figured it
They've
out.
figured it out.
They've figured it out. No, they're figured it out. They're
They're
very
back.
good still.
And I
They're
will admit I was wrong about them. I thought this was going to be the year they kind of slid. But Cam Smith and Isak Paredes, who they got in the Kyle Tucker trade, are both they're great players
I
at the
was
plate
big
this
on
year.
Paredes. I was big on Paredes.
I didn't think Cam Smith would get the chances he's getting so far this year because he was drafted last year.
I did not. I did not think about
But
Cam Smith either. I also didn't even know who Hunter Brown was until the start of the year.
yeah, and he
No, I
is
knew of Hunter. I didn't think he was a guy.
yeah,
But
and he is a Cy Young finalist if the season ended today, and he'd
oh,
win it if it
100%.
weren't for Schoolball.
Yeah, if it wasn't for a guy like maybe the best pitcher in the world right now, Tariq
Yeah,
Skubal, yeah. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible, and there. I mean, this looked like it was going to be the Mariners taking this division away, a lot like last year,
they did
where
also give it up. Mariners
yeah,
also
where
gave it
the
away.
Mariners gave it up last year. Kind of, I think actually later in the year than now though, but
Okay.
yeah, the Mariners just again got a lead, and then Houston, veteran Houston, found a way to get it done, and they're winning games now. I mean, sweeping the Dodgers is absolutely huge for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Oral Hershiser can suck one, really. I mean, great pitcher in his prime, but uh, you just got beat by a really good
You
team.
got to let it go. Yeah.
You just let it go, man. Let it go. It was almost like how long ago was this scandal? Like old news, man.
2017 is when it
Almost
started.
10
That
years.
was the
Almost 10 years ago.
yeah,
Almost
yeah.
10
Wow.
years ago. How old do you
Wow.
feel now, Keen? Well, the scandal isn't 10 years old. The incidents
Yeah.
were 10 years old, but still. Like, I
Damn.
mean,
Yeah.
Evan
8 years
Gattis
ago.
was around when that was going on, so that'll make you feel old.
Yeah. Let's pull back into the present here. The scandal is always fun to talk about, but we got the All Star game next week. I don't usually watch this, but I'm always interested to see who makes it, and seeing Julio on that list and not being it because he's Seattle's only All Star is it's kind of weird with the year he's having.
He's not good.
Yeah.
He's
He
not an
plays
all.
great
He's
defense,
not
but there's
even.
people like Joe
He's
Adele
not
plays
all
great
anything.
defense and has a great bat. George Springer is an elite hitter again.
Yeah, George Springer is one of the best hitters in the American League this year. I mean, his
Yeah.
OPS plus is damn near 150. Addison Barger, how is this guy not an all-star? I don't know. Ernie Clement has been playing maybe the best defense in the American League this year, and he's not in. Like, if you look at Ernie Clement's defensive stats, they're off the charts. He should be an
Mhm.
all-star.
And he's got
I
his hitting is solid too, right?
Yeah, no, the hitting is the
Yeah.
hitting's okay. The hitting's okay. It's no better or worse than Julio Rodriguez is.
Yeah.
I mean, Ernie Clement's a much more impactful defensive player than Julio is. I don't know why Julio's an all-star and Ernie Clement is. Actually, I do know it's because Julio signed a big fucking contract and Seattle markets the shit out of him. That's
He's a big name
why.
player. He just doesn't
Yeah,
show up.
yeah, but it's a bunch of garbage. Seiya Suzuki should also be in the All-Star game. He's one of the most important players
Yeah,
on like
most
one of the best.
RBIs in the MLB.
Hey,
Most RBIs in the MLB, and he's not there.
yeah, and I think his home runs are already in the 20s as well.
He's
Like,
having
how is this?
like, this is a good line for a full 162.
Yeah, right. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's because he's maybe a quieter guy. He's not an
Yeah,
American.
he's a little overshadowed by Kyle Tucker and Pete Crow
That
Armstrong.
is also true. It's just garbage. So I don't know why, but I'm getting on the anti Julio Rodriguez train pretty quick here. Because
Yeah,
have you heard him say I need to be better, Keenan? I haven't heard
he
that.
hasn't said anything to be fair. Like there,
He doesn't
I
say
haven't seen
shit.
any Julio
That guy
media.
doesn't say shit. He just sits there like a bitch on he doesn't do anything.
This might be like the only team I don't see Mariners media. When is the last time you saw a Mariners player say something?
I've seen Cal Raleigh talk a little bit.
He kind of has to with the season he's
Yeah,
having.
that's very fair.
Like
Very fair.
other than Cal Raleigh because he's like on pace for like
Literally God.
65 home runs. Nobody else talks on that team. They just
Yeah,
play
I
baseball.
mean, yeah, they don't do it very well sometimes. I just I'm actually kind of pissed off now. The more I think about this, that Julio Rodriguez should not be anywhere near an All-Star game. Julio Rodriguez is closer to being sent to AAA to fix his swing than he is to being a legitimate Major League All-Star. This is a sympathy All-Star, and I'm tired of handing this out. Clayton Kershaw he should have to buy a ticket to go to the All-Star game. Same with
That's
Julio Rodriguez.
Clayton's is more acceptable because it's a legend spot. It doesn't take a spot away from someone else. That's how that
That is
works.
true. That is
That's
true.
more acceptable.
I don't really care about Clayton Kershaw anymore. I just think he's pulling focus.
It's
He's
just for the
pulling
event.
focus. Huh?
It's
What's
just for
the
the
event?
event.
I mean, do you think Clayton
The
Kershaw
All
really
Star game.
wants?
It's
Do you
it's a
think he
huge
wants this?
event.
Yeah, but do you think Clayton Kershaw wants to be there out of like a little sympathy
Where is it
thing?
this year? Is it in LA?
I don't care. I don't know. I don't care about the
I
All
was gonna
Star
say if
game.
it's in
It's
LA, he
stupid.
probably doesn't give a crap.
I mean, probably not. He likes to make it about him, and I mean that. You know, his son has a locker in that clubhouse.
That doesn't surprise me.
Again, because it's the look at me. I'm Clayton Kershaw.
What do you
You know,
have against Clayton Kershaw?
not a big fan of Clayton Kershaw's.
Why?
I just don't like him.
Okay. All right. I'll keep this
I
moving
think
so
it's all an
you
act.
can
I think
stop.
it's all an act. I think it's an act. I don't like him.
All right. All right. I'll keep this moving so you can stop rambling about the players. But we got the
That's kind of
home
what this
run.
show is, isn't it? We talk about baseball players, isn't
You're
it? Like
getting
our whole.
very negative though. You're getting very
I
negative.
am getting very negative. That's
We,
yeah.
we got we got to
You
hone
run
it
the
in a
show.
little bit.
You run the show. No, I don't care. I don't even care. I'm getting on my phone now. Jays are up
Hey,
8-1 over the White
you'll like
Sox
what
at
we
least.
got next though. It's about the home run derby because this is so far loaded.
Oh, do you like this? I'll get off my phone now.
Yeah, yeah, I knew it. I knew I could pull you back. Yeah, four players named so far. We got Acuna, we got Buxton, we got Cal Raleigh, and we got James Wood. That's a great lineup already, and you're gonna get four other players who hit bombs.
That's an awesome lineup. Like this is tune in and watch this. The unfortunate thing is Alonso's not participating. He said he needs a bit of a break. Totally fair considering he's kind of been carrying this event on his shoulders
He's done
for a
what, like the
while.
last four or five?
Yeah, he's been winning a lot of them.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see in this though? I'm kind of curious.
Of the other four, who else would I like to see?
You
I'd
don't
like
need
to.
to hit all four, but just some guys you'd like to
Yeah,
see.
I would like to see Aaron Judge in it.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
LeBron in the dunk contest. Do you think we're going to?
no, he did it
Yeah.
once, and I think it was his rookie year.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I
Yeah,
think that
that
was
was
the
a while
only
ago.
time he did it.
That was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. Trying to think.
I want to see Eugenio Suarez in it.
Suarez would be good. Yeah, with Seiya Suzuki too, especially with
Well,
him not in the All Star game.
It's a joke. I'd be so pissed if I was saying Suzuki, like, hey, you want to come just for the home run derby? We know we fucked up and didn't make you an all-star, but like I think it's stupid. Like put Otani in there maybe. They love promoting the show.
Otani would be good. That's very marketable too.
Yeah, and any way that these guys can make money, they're going to try to, right? So, you know what?
Yeah,
I'd love to see. We can watch Julio Rodriguez in the home run derby. Watch him hit a bunch of grounders to kids at shortstop.
I think he did it once too. I feel like he's
Probably
been
wa-
in one.
Probably wasn't very good at it.
It might have been his rookie year when he was still hitting.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Schwarber would
maybe.
be good too.
I'm trying to think of who else I'd like to see. Schwarber would be really good because yeah, he's done it before too, though.
Pete
Who
Crow
else would be
Armstrong,
or Kyle Tucker.
Cowtuck. Yeah, well, either of them would be good.
Yeah, but I just think even if Guerrero wants to do it again, I don't know if he does, but if he
Brent
wants
Rooker,
to, Rooker maybe. Now we're talking here. Okay.
because he's
Yeah.
actually in the All Star game too. That would be a good one.
No, I'm just excited for it. Having James Wood in there is huge because
Yes.
he has maybe the most raw power in the league at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I'd like to see Addison Barger. Would love to see Addison Barger in the home run derby. But guess what? Not an all-star.
That would feel that would feel a little underwhelming against the other four names because I think Barger only has like 10 home runs this year.
Like 12, and
Oh,
he hasn't even
okay.
played that
I was
much.
two off.
Have you seen his exit velo numbers? They're off the charts. He's perfect for the home run derby.
Okay.
Now who's being overly negative, Keenan? I have a nice little hopeful
I
idea.
said one
Now,
thing. All right. Davey Martinez finally fired. Mike Rizzo as well, the Nationals general manager. Miguel Caro was promoted to interim manager. This was it was one of those things you're just waiting until it happens. You knew it was going to happen after his comments about it not being on the coaching staff when the Nationals
yeah,
were losing. He
I
should have
mean,
been fired right there. I think that was a couple weeks ago now.
yeah, it was almost a month ago, I think.
Yeah,
We completely threw the entire team under the bus and said it's not the coach's fault.
and still had a job for another month.
And they let him manage for another month. I mean, pretty incredible. You know what? Pretty incredible he was able to keep a job for that long. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think Davey Martinez needs to manage again. I'm okay if he never manages again. I'm going to be
yeah.
honest.
It was one of
Uh,
those
I,
things.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It was one of those things people were like, well, he's not really the problem until this year, and everyone's like, yes, he is the problem.
He was,
He
I mean, what what's different this year compared to last year? What's changed?
They
I
were
think Mike
supposed to
Rizzo's
take
the
that step
issue.
forward. This was supposed to be
Yeah,
their good development year,
they
and nothing
stink.
happened.
Rizzo couldn't put a good team. Like, I'm sorry, the Nats have been Juan Soto and friends since the World
Yeah,
Series year, and Rizzo's done a piss poor job of building a team.
yeah.
But he's probably
Um,
hired again soon because he did build the original World Series team. But
yeah. Other than
I
that, it's just been
Davey
coasting.
Martinez and that kind of fell into Davey's lap. Let's be honest too. Like that was a
Yeah,
really good team that kind of anybody could have, like any competent major league manager could have managed, and he hasn't done shit since.
yeah. Another team not enjoying their summer. Cleveland Guardians, 10 straight losses, 9 games under 500. They were in the mix for a little while. Now they're just in free fall. Can't score runs. No, all of their hitters that were good last year. David Fry's completely fallen apart. Brian Rocky was so bad they sent him back to AAA. Like Bo Naylor hasn't broken out yet. Carlos Santana wasn't the bat they thought he would be.
I hate to say I told you so, but I knew this team wasn't good. They just, I think I switched up on them very quickly this year. I thought they were going
Yeah,
to be
I
pretty
think it
good.
was like the first 2 weeks you were like they're good, and then
And then I was like, oh no, like
yeah,
I was like, what? And then I watched a couple games. I'm like, no, these guys suck. I'm like,
and they do.
and then they started winning a bunch of games, and I'm like, am I an idiot? Like, I don't get how they win games. Like, you look at the box score, you look, and I'm like, how are they winning? And
It's because
things
they were
regress.
managed well, and they had a
Steven
real
Vogt,
they have a
again,
really good
very
bullpen.
good. Yeah, but this team is just not very good. Like, the young
No,
players have either regressed or taken a step back. Uh, the bullpens can't win you games. The bullpen comes in when you have a lead.
yeah,
So Uh, it is a bit sad, but I mean, in that division, they're still not really out of second place in the Central, which still isn't going to win you a wild card
second place
spot.
in the Central is still under 500 though.
Yeah, hey, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm saying they can still finish second in their division.
Just a little moral victory.
That at this point for them, after losing 10 straight with the year they've had, that might be all they can muster.
Yeah, uh, Mets might be getting Kodai Senga back. This is very big news for them because Griffin Canning is done with a torn Achilles, so
Yeah,
they're
they need
looking for to bring other
reinforcement.
people in as well. Getting interest for Mitch Keller. We talked about him last week. We know what he is. Consistent back end of the rotation guy. Let's see what he does on a winning team. But the Mets need starting pitching. Griffin Canning's done. Sean Manaea is still out. They got Montage back, but he hasn't been great in his first
They
couple of
need
starts.
reinforcements. They
They
need
need
reinforcements.
reinforcements,
They need
and they can
reinforcements.
retool on the fly. They got enough in the prospect pool, and they've got the money to dish out.
A
Yeah,
100%. Like if you're Steve Cohen,
you're
you
all
like
in.
well, you like to talk a big game, but let's see it. Let's see you wheel and deal now.
Hmm.
This is where executives, if you're a good executive, this is where you thrive. It's in the fire. We're in trade deadline month. Your team needs pitching desperately. You've got to figure out how you can get it, and you're getting Senga back, but that's not enough because you're going to lose Canning for the year as well. So you need to get another starter, probably maybe one or two others, but I still believe in the Mets. I still think that they're the best team in that division by far.
Yeah. Well, it's a two-horse race, but they got McNeil too. How's he doing?
Jeff McNeil is back, ladies and gentlemen. Like fully, like he's like back because I saw a very interesting stat. Um, it was around this time last year. He had a home run off Paul Skeens, and he said in an interview, "I'm done hunting singles. I'm changing my approach. I'm going to do damage." And Keenan, boy, has this guy done damage. Now, if you remember, he was banged up towards the second half of last season, right? Like he had a bit of injuries, but he had more home runs in the 40 games of the second half than he did the 80 games of the first half. He only had two less doubles, and he is tearing the cover off of the ball this season. He's actually been a huge part of this Mets team. And even since then, his average has gone up. He's really been an impact hitter. OPS plus over 130. I mean, like the power is kind of there for him. He's at 9 homers, which is really good for Jeff McNeil, by the way, guys. Really good. The OBP is very strong. He's being a very effective hitter. He's getting on base a lot. And he's a big part of this Mets team. And maybe, I don't want to say he should have been an all-star, but he's back to being an impact player where he had those kind of 2 lost years. Like the past 2 years were kind of really weird for him. Now it feels like he's Jeff McNeil again. And you form him with Lindor. That's a really good infield, especially when you add in Vientos and all that. This Mets team is very serious.
Yeah, and this is what the Mets need. You can buy as many bats as you want, but the players on your team need to step up first and foremost. You can't replace everyone. So if Jeff
No.
McNeil's hitting, that's better for the team. That's better for management. That's one less asset to worry about.
Yeah, and Jeff McNeil is back to be. I just think he's back to being that steady, really good hitter. You can kind of bat him 2 through 6 in the lineup, and you'll feel pretty good. Even fucking lead him off if you have to, but you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I still feel confident that he's going to keep doing this though.
Yeah, over on the other side of New York, things are also a little rocky. The entire city's baseball is it's imploded this last couple of weeks. Mets have kind of refound it, but they were playing the Yankees, the other team that was imploding. Clark Schmidt likely to need Tommy John surgery. This is not what Yankee fans needed to hear. They're the Yankees, though. They'll go out and buy someone for some ridiculous price, but that's not the point. You don't want to see this happen. But
No, certainly not. Yeah,
yeah,
and Clark Schmidt's a stud too, so he's a very important piece of what they're trying to do for the Yankees. So losing him, there's not a lot of Clark Schmidts on the market,
no,
so they probably have to pivot and try and do whatever you can. Like the way that you replace the Clark Schmidt is with a decent-ish starter, and you had a bullpen arm to do that to eat up the extra innings he was going to give you. But yeah, really unfortunate. Definitely not happy at all to see
no,
a pitcher like that have to lose. Probably what, this year and next year?
at least.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
and I think I saw an interesting stat. It was like since a certain point last year, he's top 5 in the league in earned run average. So he was really emerging. But it
yeah.
feels like this is happening more and more to younger pitchers. Right as they're breaking out, their arm breaks down. So
Yeah. It's got to be
really
they
weird.
changed some kind of mechanic which helps them, but it's harder on the arm. I don't know
And
enough
it's
about it.
already harder because of how hard they're throwing and how much spin they're adding to the ball
Yeah.
as well. So there's just all this stuff at play. So you just hope he comes back and he can be Clark Schmidt. So
Yeah. Our pitching matchup of the week again. We got another push. Yusei Kikuchi did not pitch on the Tuesday. I had him listed to Jack Flaherty and Trevor Williams. Your guys, that game got postponed and they didn't
I think
pitch
it was
against
rain.
each other.
Yeah.
So
I
another
have,
push.
I have a legit matchup this week, though. I have a legit matchup. I have
Where,
Jesus
where-
Luzardo versus Justin Verlander. That's going to be Wednesday around noon or so. That's two great pitchers, one great name, one great current pitcher. Definitely beats the two guys. Who is this? Zach Little and who?
Reese Olson. You know who Reese Olson is.
I do know who they. I was trying to make it. They're good.
Like, come on, man.
Pitchers. No. I can't. They're good. I was gonna
Yeah,
make a
no.
joke about them selling insurance, but I couldn't. So they're fine, but they're not Justin
Yeah.
Verlander.
It's two solid guys playing for two teams that are
Yeah.
always pitch well. Tampa Bay and Detroit. If you think a guy's going to pitch well, they probably
You
pitch
found a
well.
way to put Detroit in this episode. Good job, Keenan.
Oh, well, we always talk about them. They're the best
That's
team in
true.
baseball. How could we forget?
Yeah, they're the best team in baseball.
Best team in baseball.
You believe that? Are they your World Series favorites? Do you want to declare that right now?
I think I've already declared that.
Have you placed a bet on that?
No.
Give me the field against Detroit. What kind of odds can I get?
I don't bet. What are decent odds?
It depends on how much you believe me. I'll tell you. I don't want to make a bet with you on the air. 'Cause nah,
We can make
do this,
bets
like,
when we actually get to the playoffs.
yeah. Let's just do that instead. Let's do that
Yeah.
instead.
We got these teams they do have to make it there first. Not saying Detroit's not going to, but
I think you're pretty good on Detroit making the playoffs, Keenan.
I think we're
I'll bet any
pretty
amount of
good.
money that the Tigers will make
Yeah.
the playoffs.
What about the other teams though? Let's get into the divisions here.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I've been looking forward to this for
Oh, I
a while
bet.
now. The American League East, the top team, the Toronto Blue Jays, 52 and 38, 9-1, 8-game win streak. Going to be nine after they finish up in Chicago. They're number one, great team. Atkins and Shapiro, you guys know what you were doing. I was wrong to criticize you. Yankees in second place, 49 and 41, followed pretty closely by the Rays, 49 and 42. Then the Red Sox above 500. That's good for them, 46 and 45. And the Orioles still a bit more competitive since the Hyde sacking, but 40 and 49, kind of bottoming out.
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs with that pitching core. We all know that by this point. Boston back above 500. They're just flirting with 500 right now. There's no there's no direction right now. There's no
No,
consistently going up.
rudderless.
There's no consistently
Completely
going down.
rudderless.
You
They're
win
just
three, you
floating
lose
around.
three. That's how it's going. But
The
yeah,
one thing I
the other
want to
three
talk about,
teams,
though,
that's where it's at
one
right now.
thing, one thing. Can I say one thing?
Yes, yes.
The Blue Jays dominant home team. That's what's gotten them through this. Is they're 32 and 16 at home. They actually have a negative record on the road, and they're still leading their division. But they have been dominant in the Rogers Center.
Hmm. That's a couple teams though. Yankees are negative on the road.
I think the
Houston's only
Tigers have been
up.
really good at home too.
Mets are 19 and 25 at home or on the road. Sorry.
Yeah.
Padres negative on the road.
What are the
I think
Tigers on the road? Because I think they've been really good at home this year, if I
27 and
remember.
20 on the road.
Okay, so still a good road team, but I think
That's
at
good.
home
Yeah,
they've been.
that's a good.
Yeah.
I'd say
Okay.
that's about what you want for your road record as a true competitor.
Yeah, and then your home has to be a fortress.
Yes, and at least Philadelphia still got a game and a half on the Mets following their recent skid. They're 53 and 37. The Mets 52 and 39 definitely got their footing back following the Subway Series. We'll see if they can carry this into the last two series before the All-Star break. Miami in third in this division. They're 40 and 48. Atlanta just got swept at home by Baltimore. They're 39 and 50. The season is over, in case you didn't know. And Washington holding down the division in last place, 37 and 53. At least they're behind my Braves.
Is that what the Braves have come to now? At least we're above the Nationals, the team who just sacked their
Apparently. This
like.
is awful. I
So
didn't
Keenan,
think with this core of players they'd be this bad.
As a fan of a bad team now, this is the first time the Braves have really been bad this early in the year, and really out of it. What are you looking forward to for this season? Like, what are you doing to make
Watching more
yourself excited?
Tigers baseball.
Okay, so your solution is to abandon your team and just be like, I actually like this team in fucking Michigan. I actually really
No,
like this team in Michigan.
just
I
watching
love the movie
Schwellenbach's hurt
Semi
now too,
Pro.
though.
Pardon?
The only reason I watched the last couple weeks was Sale and Schwellenbach, and they're both hurt. Like they were the only good things about this team recently, and
So
they're
has it
both
turned
hurt.
into a bit of a hate watch for you? How are you doing? How are you
I didn't
doing now?
watch any of the Orioles season. I might need a reset after that sweep, though.
That was pretty embarrassing, eh?
It was very embarrassing. I think we got shut out one day too.
Oh, I mean, offensively though, that's not like
Let me
it's
let
not
me let
different.
me check this first before.
But
But I
I wanted
think
to talk about
what was
actually.
sorry, we lost 3-2 and 2-1 on two separate
Interrupted
games.
again.
That's still
Interrupted again.
ridiculous against the Orioles
Interrupted.
pitching staff.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I wanted to bring up the stretch that the Marlins were on because I want to talk about positives that they went on a West Coast road trip and after winning a series against the Braves, won two out of three, then they swept the Giants in three games, swept the Diamondbacks in three games, then won a series in Minnesota, then in Miami against Minnesota. I just think that's a positive thing for that team to be able to go on a little 6-game West Coast road trip and sweep it. I just think that's a good positive story because you know me, I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on
Okay.
that? Anything to add to that at all?
That was some
Just
very
yep.
good positivity from you.
Thank you. I'm really trying. I'm really trying here.
That was
Speaking
your
of
one moment for the
speaking of
episode.
positivity, no one has a more positive record than the Detroit Tigers in the American League. 58 and 34 atop the American League Central. The rest of this division is an absolute joke. The Twins 43 and 47, the Royals 43 and 48, the Guardians 40 and 48, and the White Sox 30 and 60. Keenan, I want to bring up one thing. I want to know. I want to see if you remember this. Do you remember the odds that the Minnesota Twins had to win this division before the year started?
Weren't they the best in the division?
They had the best in the division. It was insane. They were like the, and you and I. It felt like it felt like we were the last two sane people on earth saying
Yeah,
this team sucks,
it ain't
and they do
happening.
suck, and this division sucks because they don't know what they're doing. The Royals' offense, guess what? Still abysmal. The White Sox score more runs than they do. This this division is a joke. They have a collective negative run differential, despite having the best team in all of the American League. They're all really bad, except for the best team. So
Yeah.
I have no thoughts. These teams are beyond saving.
The thing is, with the Twins, Royals, and Guardians, one of them, in theory, could make the playoffs if they just go on a hot stretch at the right
No,
time. With how weak the wild card race is,
true.
like
True, but
if they
I
just
mean,
get
if they
if
go on a hot streak, they still need to like maintain that level though, and I
yeah,
don't see it for any of these teams.
but it's just the wild card race. It's gonna the sixth seed is it's gonna be one of those like, oh, how the hell did they make the playoffs?
You know what? I'll just I think Texas has a better chance to make it in the wild card than any team in the Central,
Yeah, probably.
or even Boston. I just don't see these Central teams doing it.
There's a big piece missing out of all three of those teams.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I don't think it could be Kansas City because they're legitimately three hitters away. Ah, two hitters away probably. I'm being a bit dramatic. Minnesota's just a joke, and I just don't see Cleveland rebounding from how bad this stretch has been.
No,
I just don't see it for any of them.
yeah. NL Central is a bit of a different story. They've got some very competitive teams, very offensive heavy too. Four teams with above 400 runs scored, including the Chicago Cubs, 54 and 36, 492 runs on the season. Milwaukee in second place, 50 and 40. They're heating up and they're staying hot. St. Louis kind of faltered a little bit the last week, including that sweep by the Pirates. They're 48 and 43, still above 500. Cincinnati, 46 and 44, still just hovering 500. It's been their year. That's what they do all year. Pittsburgh, 38 and 53. They're like somehow Paul Skeens is 4 and 7 with a sub 2 ERA. It's like one win
It's
in his last 13 starts. Get this man some help.
No, I don't think they will. um,
They won't. They 100% won't.
yeah. What can I say about the Cincinnati Reds that I don't say every week? They just torture me. I don't get it. I don't know why they don't win more games. I don't know why they can't win more home games. Like this, I think they will leapfrog the Cardinals. I don't think they can run down the Brewers.
No. Brewers, they're just playing. They will stay consistent.
Did you see that Brandon Woodruff is back?
Yes, he had a good start too. I think it was 6 shutout innings.
It was a very good. It was his first start since 2023, I think.
Yeah,
So that could be huge if he's like back. That could be a
that helps.
huge
Yeah, it helps the rotation.
100%. It's one less deadline acquisition you need.
Yeah,
Well, let's talk about the AL West now because we talk about the Central a long time every week. Houston back to being the big bad guys, 55 and 35, 20 games above 500. The Mariners 48 and 42, buoyed by the incredible offensive Cal Raleigh, anchored by the incredible shit of Julio Rodriguez. Texas 44 and 46. There's some comments I want to talk about later about them. The Angels 43 and 46, and the A's, Athletics 37 and 55. Kevin Pillar very recently retired and
yes.
said that he expected the Texas Rangers to be a tighter, more kind of deeply knit team and less kind of cliquish. Did those comments surprise you at all?
With what we're seeing since the World Series run, not really. Like
Yeah,
this
I
is
was going to
kind of
say,
how they've been the last 2 years. They won the trophy. They're fine. They're content. There's no drive anymore.
it does feel like they're still on a World Series hangover. Where
Yeah,
all those guys are kind of just like, yeah, we've done this. We are who we are. We like who we like. And if you're new, we don't like you.
It's
That seems
weird
to be a
because
lot
they
of what this is. You
it's so
know,
weird because they've got some young guys too that you'd think would push harder, and they've brought in a lot of good talent. Brought in Jacob DeGrom, just completely rehauled the rotation with guys who weren't there in 2023. You'd think there was more drive, but
there
there's
just
just
doesn't
no
seem to
energy.
be. There just doesn't. You would think there's more drive, but there just isn't.
There
Like,
isn't. There's nothing.
no, and especially the weird thing is, they don't really feel like a Bruce Bochy managed team.
No,
They do not feel like a Bochy managed team, and I wonder if maybe he's just too tired to have to go through this again.
maybe.
I,
Yeah.
I, 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 he just may not want to, which is totally fine. But it's
Yeah.
out of the way.
The Angels are still surprising me though. They're just hovering
They're hanging in
500.
there, aren't they? They're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Who do you?
Kind of not
Okay,
what they needed though. Like
which
it's one of those years. If you click, you got to sneak into the wild card. If not, you need to just completely collapse and get a good
yeah.
pick. Like
Okay, which AL Central teams are the Angels going to have a better record then? We know it's not Detroit and not the Cubs, and definitely the Cubs. Will they have a
the
better
White
record
Sox.
than the Twins? Well, obviously, sorry, White Sox. I meant White Sox when I said Cubs.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Which,
I was making sure
yeah,
because you said Cubs
Chicago,
twice.
whatever. It's fucking shitty city. The Twins, Royals, and Guardians. How many of those teams do the Angels finish higher than?
Two. I think one of the Central teams clicks. The other
Which
two
one? Which one? Say
probably.
it, Howard. Say it.
I'll say Kansas City has a better record than them.
Kansas City. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Cleveland.
You think Cleveland,
I think. I think they
but
still
not the
miss
other
the
two?
playoffs. No, because I just believe in Stephen. I just really like Stephen Vogt.
That's fair. I
I
just don't
think
believe
Vogt.
he doesn't have any tools. There's nothing
I
there.
know. I think he's gonna call Terry Francona and be like, "How did you do this shit? I have no idea what the fuck these guys are doing. They suck."
Terry had
Ah,
Lindor for most of his years, though, too. You give him
yeah,
another
that is
star
true.
player.
And Kluber, but still,
Yeah,
it was still Cleveland. It was still
yeah.
Cleveland. So
I don't know. I don't think Cleveland gets it going. I was to be fair, you were higher on them
I
at
was
points than I was. So that is
I had
fair.
a lot of eggs in the Brian Rocchio and Bo Naylor baskets. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and Rocchio is rotting away in AAA.
I thought Santana could still hit.
Yeah. This is they're a poor man's Rays. They are a poor man's Tampa Bay Rays. You can't manufacture talent.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't cover up lack of talent.
No. Ah, NL West. LA, they've lost three straight. They're 56 and 35. They're on the verge of losing fourth straight. They're in Milwaukee right now, getting killed. San Diego, 48 and 41. Eighth, they're doing better at this point than they were last year. So they've got that going for them, and they made the playoffs last year. Just some positivity for the Padres, because I was very high on this
Look
team.
at you, positivity, Keenan. Look at us go. Look at us
But we
go.
got this. We got this. San Francisco, 49 and 42. They're still hanging in there. Arizona, this one irks me because I was higher on them than I
You
was the
were
Padres.
you were fucking sky high on the Diamondbacks this year.
I
You
thought I was for sure. I was like, this is my
There
early.
were talks early, I think, of you saying that they could push the Dodgers.
Yeah, that was very,
That was a different time.
very aggressive and very incorrect. They're 44 and
They
46.
can't pitch. They can't
No,
pitch.
I think
They can score.
it's the same thing as last year. Like top five offense, bottom five pitching staff.
The issue is kind of help did arrive a little bit last year. It is not
It
coming for
hasn't
the
stayed
Diamondbacks.
healthy.
They're not
Like
getting
the
any help.
bullpen is injured.
No, the bullpen's
Burns
beat
is
shit.
injured.
Well, Zach Gallen's lost his mind.
Yeah.
Brandon Pfaadt doesn't understand how to pitch. Things are all going really, really bad. Things are all
Yeah,
going to hell.
Eduardo Rodriguez is still bad too.
He's completely lost it. Yeah.
He's washed.
And the Giants are really good.
Yeah,
That's
that too.
another
That doesn't
issue.
help.
Is another divisional team
Yeah,
emerging to be really strong? So that's an issue.
yeah. Last place in the MLB. They got 20 wins now. They just had three straight sellouts with the White Sox in town. They're 21 and 69.
Was that a joke, or do they actually have three straight
No, it
sellouts?
was like 47,000 people in attendance each game.
No fucking way. Were they
I
free?
looked at, yeah. I was
Dude, what's your source? There's no guys.
ESPN.
Keenan's been reading The Onion again. Oh, you know what it is though, Keenan? It's probably because like American Schools just got out.
Yeah, that could be. Also, July 4th, they sold out that game.
Oh, true. Americans love that
Memorial
holiday.
Day weekend. So
Yeah.
go to the
That's what I
ballpark.
mean. Still really shitty. I can't think of two teams. I would rather go and watch. I don't know, but I'd rather. I can think of a lot of things I'd rather watch. I'd rather watch some random guy mow his lawn than the Rockies and the White Sox play professional baseball. I'd rather watch. Have you seen that like roof football catching championship on ESPN like 5 that they
Yeah, they
have? It's
throw it on the roof.
they throw a football on this
I've,
guy's roof and they catch it, and that's
I
the
think I've
game.
seen that pop up on Instagram, and I was like, these people
I gotta tell you,
okay?
I've watched 2 minutes of it. More. That's 2 minutes more than I could watch a Rockies White Sox.
Yeah, I'd rather watch paint dry. That might be more entertaining.
That's like it. It's like watching the Sacramento Kings and the fucking Pelicans play on a Tuesday night on NBA League Pass. Nobody wants that crap. In NBA terms, sorry guys, that's what that's like. It's not fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those matchups. You see, oh, that's happening. Okay, nobody's gonna watch that. The whole
No,
city watched it.
evidently 47,000 people watched it. I don't
Yeah,
know. I still don't understand that.
apparently there's nothing else to do in Colorado this time of year.
I feel like there'd be a lot to do in Colorado this time of year. Go on a fucking hike. It's supposed to be
I
really
guess
lovely.
not. People wanted to go to Coors Field. They wanted to watch that game. The White Sox won two of those games too. It's not like
I,
Colorado was winning.
I bet you it was a lot of parents dragging their kids out. Kids didn't want to go. The kids
There's
know
no way
ball.
parents wanted to go to that too. Like you think that
Parents wanted an excuse to get the kids
you think
outside.
they're gonna work 40 hours a week and then go, yeah, I'm willingly gonna go to
Well,
a
the tickets are
Rockies
probably
game.
$10, Keanen. They can't be charging for them.
That's true. That is true.
They probably have a great family pack deal. Like the Rockies, I've heard they pay you to go to games.
Probably.
Yeah,
You buy one ticket, we'll give you one free. Buy one, get one.
yeah, it's a great deal.
Bad teams should do that. They'd probably sell tickets.
Well, I mean, have you heard the joke of like I left 2 Rockies
Yeah,
tickets in my car and 4 more appeared? I tell that joke like monthly on this podcast, and it just works every time.
it does.
Yeah.
Anything else before we close the show?
No, nothing really.
No.
Just excited for the first dominoes of the trades to fall because once one tips over, then they all start to fall.
Yeah, deadline day is always great because we don't have it in the off season, so we got it in the end of July.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week. Last week of baseball before the All-Star break. Thank you all for tuning in.